ask you a question? Because it's been on my mind.
Oh, of course you can.
You know, you mentioned that you were looking to do a video game. And you heard some pitches from different companies that you were not interested in.
Absolutely.
And then you came by Naughty Dog, and after the pitch, you said, I want to work on this.
Correct.
And I'm curious, was it anything specific about the story?
Was
or
something
about
that I was
the
waiting
studio,
for.
or
no,
like...
I tell you, it was, well, meeting you, because I always worked by intuition, everything, even in my music, as you know. So when I met you, it was a combination of something that I had before, because after the Oscars, I was approached, as I said, by different companies, one French company, big company, and...
don't say the name.
No,
don't say the name.
But my son is a gamer, as you know, and at the time, he was in his mid-teen years, he was very good, and I enjoy watching him play, you know? I don't even play, you know, FIFA, World, you know, all that. I used in tours with Bajo Fondo. I used to watch the guys play, and I watch it just like if I was watching a football match on TV, a soccer match on TV. But watching my son playing and stuff, I was always thinking, you know, if somebody connects in an emotional level, and I didn't know what a story or whatever. I just knew if something connects, this is going to be something incredible. It's going to change how people, you know, approach games and things like that. So I had that in mind, but I remember that somehow that was expressed, that there was a will in the proposal of this game of connecting with a gamer in an emotional level. That's it. This is exactly what I've been waiting for. I'm interested in every aspect that where music can participate, where sound actually can participate, frequencies, you know, it was that. I mean, meeting you, hearing the story, I said, this is it. I didn't have no doubt. And I started writing immediately. I got so inspired, you know.
It's interesting. I don't know if you know this, but behind the scenes, because the Sony Music Group, which you've worked now very closely with, they brought me a lot of video game composers. And I asked them, like, what about Gustavo Santaolalla? And they're like, no. And I said, why not? Well, he won 2 Academy Awards. He's not going to want to do a video game. And I'm like, if we downplay our art, then everybody else is going to downplay our art. So I'm like, let's have the meeting. He might say no, but let's have the meeting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's part of a question that I was going to ask you. What was the reason that you called me? Why did you thought about me for the music?
I knew we had to do with this project. The whole kind of mantra for this project was like, what's the least we need to do to convey an emotion? Which is Uncharted is kind of the opposite of it. It's like, how do we crank everything to 11? Like everything has to be big and spectacle. And in contrast, The Last of Us wants to be as small and intimate as possible. And we try to do that across the board with gameplay, with character designs, just to tell things like really kind of small and intimate. And your music does so much with so little. And I mean it as a compliment, because like people sometimes don't know, like as artists, sometimes the hardest thing is to pare it down, is to reduce it and like and take like 2 separate ideas and combine them into one. Or so that's where I felt like with your music, we could adhere to that philosophy that we applied across the whole project.
And there was something, some particular work that I've done that actually was the determine or something, you know, that really excited you?
I think my first exposure to your music was Deadwood.
Oh.
Or one famous piece that was using that, and The Insider. And then from that, I discovered the Motorcycle Diaries. And I think I watched that movie because of the music. Like the music brought me to the movie instead of like watching the movie.
So funny.
And I love the movie, and I adored the soundtrack. And then just wanted to work with the guy that did all that.
But I wanted to say, so when did you watch any of Alejandro's movies?
Definitely. Oh, that's right. So Babel also had that piece of music, and I saw that. And then is it Los Perros Amores?
Amores Perros, which has electric guitar, but has a ronroco at the end, at the very end, has the ronroco.
And yeah, I often associate his films with your music because you guys have collaborated so much.
We did 4, It's funny. For me, it was a great moment when that Bajo Fondo concert got the chance to introduce you guys, you know, because
But it was funny because he asked me. I remember I met him, and you know, I love his movies, but they're like sometimes there's a quirkiness to them. There's like beautiful character stuff. They're sometimes very violent and disturbing.
Yeah, dark.
And he asked me. He only saw the trailer for Last of Us Part 2. And he was talking about violence in video games and like, am I worried that it's too violent? And I'm like, have you seen your movies? Have you seen your movies? No, but that was great connecting with him.
Because I've said this in interviews and stuff, that even if you guys are totally different, you had something that reminded me of Alejandro. Although, you know, we're totally different people and, you know, the approach is different and how you work is very different. It was something, I don't know, I guess it has to do with the emotion too, that connection with the emotion, which is what I think connect with you and with Alejandro too.
What I love about him and you is like, there's a vision, you know, there's a need there beyond just being successful. There's a need to communicate something emotional, something human that not every artist has. And I find I'm connected more to people that have this, at times it could feel uncompromising, but that because they care so much.
It's, I mean, I always say that, I mean, when I think about why, you know, sometimes you, especially when you're already past 70, you think about why do I do this? What is the reason why do I do this, or what, you know? And I really feel that the best thing is use this gift to touch people in a positive way, to use it for you know, in a kind way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I went through periods, you know, in the 80s and stuff, and I had a punk band and stuff that it was full of anger, and you know, I had separated, and also, you know, going through the process of immigration and all that, you know, and I had a few breakdowns with some people, you know, that actually when I came here were supposed to help me, and then, you know, they sort of betrayed me, you know, and that feeling of betrayal, which is awful. But all that is long time gone, and I feel that that's something that is so important. Love, you know, at the end. Sometimes it sounds corny, you know, but it's true.
Well, again,
you know what I mean?
You can't get betrayed if you don't care about the person.